Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session in the Schools Theatre. It's my pleasure to introduce Mark Maybury and Emily Richards. This session is going to focus on school management systems with a focus on admissions, parental engagement, and the recruitment and retention of students, a key issue. Mark has 30 years experience as a classroom teacher and an assistant head teacher before he joined the dark side, the commercial sector. Emily is the founder of her own business, a Stickman Consultancy, and they are partners with WCBS. Emily and Mark, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lewis, and it's lovely to see you. I just want you, just for a moment, to think about your own school and your own admissions process. I don't want you to put hands up or shout out the answer to this question, but if your school was to send out a survey to parents of students who've just entered your schools, and the survey was to rate your school on a score of 1 to 10 on how parents viewed the admissions experience, what score would those parents give you as a school? Now, don't shout out your answers. Would it be 1? Would it be 10? Would it be 5 in between? Well, if you're not a 10, you're in the right place, because what we want to do is to look at some hints and tips this afternoon to help you achieve that mark or that score of 10 as we examine the admissions process and tools and resources to help you. As Lewis said, thank you so much for your welcome, Lewis. My name is Mark Maybury. And if you're trying to work out which one is Mark and which one's Emily, always remember Mark has no hair, okay? That's a great way to remember things. I used to be a teacher, as Lewis said, for 30 years, then I moved across to the dark side, to the educational IT world. And the past 2 years, I've been working with WCBS, who focus or specialise on management systems for schools in terms of the academic management information systems and finance systems. And we've just launched a new admissions product, which we'll talk about as we go through the show this afternoon. And I'm going to hand across to Emily, who's just going to introduce herself.
I'm Emily Richards. I'm the founder of the Stickman Consultancy, and we are school marketing and research specialists. We've been established now for 7 years, and we like to keep schools alive and thriving, and the way we do this is through the creation of pupil recruitment and retention strategies that focus on revenue generation for schools. We do this to keep amazing schools doing incredible things for children and young people, and it's something that's close to my own heart, as I've seen and experienced firsthand how a great education can shape lives and change futures, and it made me incredibly determined to get that for my own children, Bertie and Beatrice. I'd also like to say I'm really excited to be here today speaking at Bett, and I'd like to thank Mark for inviting me to speak with him.
It's a pleasure, and it's good to have you on board, Emily. Now, let's just have a think about what's in it for you this afternoon, why you've come along to our short presentation, to actually look at some of the challenges which are faced in the admissions world in schools. And first of all, do any of these sound familiar? And you're allowed to put your hands up for this one. Does it sound familiar that there's too much paperwork involved in the process? Who would actually identify with that? Let's just have a quick show of hands. Okay. How about the fact that there's excessive amounts of emails from various people clogging up your email boxes? Yes, that seems a bit of an issue for you, I can see. And how about poor engagement with parents? It's really hard to get hold of them at times, that you really want to get hold of them, but they're never answering the phone, they don't respond to the emails. Let's have a show of hands for that one. Or, alternatively, the parents find it hard to get hold of you because they're at work at the day, and the only time they can get hold of you is when they're at home at night, and of course, you're closed. Emily?
Perhaps you have too few enquiries coming into your school from prospective families. Do you ever wonder how to create that awareness of your school and get those enquiries coming in? Or perhaps you're getting the enquiries coming in and you're not able to convert them for whatever reason. Perhaps that's a challenge for you. Or maybe you don't know where the gaps lie. Perhaps it's just you just want to fill those school places and you don't know how.
So, this afternoon, that is the sort of the areas we're going to cover. we have 3 key points that we're going to look at in our short time this afternoon. We're going to have a look at creating the wow to try and grab the attention of those prospective parents for you in your schools. Have a short look at tools and resources that you can use from an IT technology side of things. And then we're going to finally close our session by having a quick look at making the most of data to help you in that recruitment and retention process. If you have any questions, we are going to offer you an opportunity to ask some questions towards the end of the programme. And there's some literature on your seats which you can take away. If you've not spotted it, you're sitting on it. And there is a nice 30% offer underneath your bottom. So have a look at that before you go, and we'll explain that at the end as well. So without further ado, I'm going to hand across to Emily, and she's going to look at creating the wow.
Thank you, Mark. Did you know there are 93 fewer independent schools in the UK than there were 5 years ago? Just think about that number for a second. And think about how little time 5 years ago, 2014, what were you doing? The Department for Education claims that one of the main reasons for these closures is financial struggles. Think about the lives affected, the parents, the pupils, governors, trustees, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, and so on. Did you also know that the average lifetime value of a pupil is anywhere between £100,000 and £250,000 at an independent school in the UK? So if you have one empty place at your school, you're losing significant amounts of money every year, let alone 5 places, 10 places. At Stickman, we work with many different schools, and we see small prep schools with a total pupil count of around 100 having 40, 50 places empty. And the sad reality is those schools will also close in a few years' time if they don't take action to address their admissions issues. It's going to get worse in September. There is the increased teacher pension contributions too, so action needs to be taken. And filling school places isn't just a token marketing gesture, it's integral to the future sustainability of a school. It's not just the finances either. It can have a knock-on effect. Not filling those school places can create negativity amongst your parent body. We all know the negativity that playground chatter can do, and the negativity it can breed amongst your parent body. Having empty school places as well can lower staff morale, and that can have a knock-on effect to the teaching and learning experiences offered, which can affect lowering the academic achievement of a school, which can damage your reputation, which can then make it in turn harder to attract those pupils again, and can also start to affect your pupil retention. The good news is I have one guiding principle that I want to share with you today that's going to make an enormous difference to filling those school places, and that is all about creating the wow. Whether that's innovative and bold marketing, a super streamlined admissions and application process, or outstanding customer service, create the wow. You see, much of what schools are offering these days is expected. Prospective parents won't necessarily regard school plays, school trips, even academic achievements as anything out of the ordinary or distinctive. It won't set you apart from the school down the road. Parents have more choice about schools than ever. At the touch of a button, they can review a school's reputation. They can go on a forum and compare and contrast against other schools. They can go on social media channels and see how a school is being talked about, the good, bad, and the ugly. Let's just have a look at the definition of wow. This is the dictionary definition: to impress and excite someone greatly. So if I think about a wow moment, my friend was having coffee with me at the weekend, and she was telling me about, she bought a new car, and when she got home, she got a beautiful bouquet of flowers in the boot. And this impressed and excited her, and she was telling me, consequently, about it. No doubt telling all her other friends about it, and that low-cost gesture of that car dealership was spreading really good word-of-mouth value for that business. When I think about a wow moment I've had recently, at the end of the academic year last year, I went to 2 school open days. Our son is due to start senior school in September. And on paper, the 2 schools were same type of schools, both selective intake, both in the same area. And yet, me and my son left the first one completely bowled over, completely impressed and excited, feeling extremely lucky that we could actually have the potential to go there, attend that school and get a bit of what they're offering. We left the other one completely underwhelmed. And it had the same effect on my son as well. It was really interesting to see. So I'm going to share with you 3 golden rules as to how you can start creating the wow during your admissions process. The first one is customer is king. Now, the word customer is a pretty ugly word, or has been historically in the education world. Schools are educationalists. They don't like to think of themselves as commercial in any way. However, they have parents handing over substantial amounts of money to them every year. So they need to position those parents as customers and put their needs and wants at the heart of all their planning during their admissions process. Number 2, it's about the little and the big wow moments. So the big wow moments, you can have an all singing, all dancing open day, but the little touches count. Those are the ones that can actually set your school apart from the school down the road. So it might be, if we just think about that open day I mentioned, a few days after the open day, I received a handwritten postcard from the pupil who'd shown us around, and it was a photo of him on the front at the school, and it made me smile. It was lovely. Another one might be sending out your prospectus in the post in beautifully branded paper with again, a handwritten note. You know, be personal, show the personal touch. Think of the surprise and delight that family will have when they open that and receive that in the post. Every touch point counts. By that, I mean, at Stickman, we do admissions audits, and we examine a school's admissions journey from end to end. So we'll start with looking at how you're creating awareness about your school. You know, how are those prospective families going to know about you? And if they know about you, how are they going to be reminded to come and check you out for their child? And a typical journey along the admissions process for a parent might go as follows. They might start by checking out your website, looking over your social media channels, seeing how you're talking about yourselves, what achievements you've made as a school. Then they're likely to phone into the school. So part of the audits we do, we look at the experience. We do mystery shopping to hear how that experience is for a parent. So we will see how school office staff are talking to that family. It's no longer enough for them to just be polite and professional. They need to follow a script. They need to be relating the interests of the pupil to what the school can offer. They need to be aware of your school's key messages. Have clarity around those and be concise, and make sure everybody, whoever you are in the school, teaching and non-teaching staff, is aware of them and they are sharing them at every touch point. Email correspondence, your prospectus, are they representing your school well? The school visit, you know, we audit from the moment a family steps onto the school grounds to the signage they see, the welcome they get, the hospitality they receive, as well as the meeting with the headmaster, headmistress, or the admissions director, to the pupil interaction, the behaviours. It all counts. So create the wow at every touch point. If one of these is poor, you're going to compromise the interest of that prospective family, and the school down the road will be doing it better because competition is getting more and more fierce. So, Mark, I'm going to hand over to you now to talk about creating the wow during the application process.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Emily. So let's just move on just for a moment and just think about our own lives and how we research things that we're interested in. Now, if you think of shopping online, what a great activity. Sit down at night, get your device out, whatever your device of choice is, because I'm not here to promote any particular brand today. But I'm sure you'll know the device that you use. And you're there, and you're looking at the various shopping sites, you're comparing the prices, and when you see the one you want to purchase it there and then. quite recently, I was looking for some garden furniture. And I saw the ones I wanted, the set of garden furniture I needed. But I was so disappointed because that website did not allow me to continue with my purchase. I had to go to the store. I couldn't click, I couldn't get my instant response that they've received my money, that my purchase was on the way tomorrow. And what about that touch point for your schools when prospective parents, what time of day are they likely to be looking for the school? Not when they're at work, but during the evening. They're there with their device and they're looking for the school and they see one, because it could be that first touch point which Emily was relating to, and it could be the website. How quickly can they engage with you as soon as they see what they like on the website? Are you enticing them in? Can they send you a completed form for a prospectus or for a request for you to get back to them and receive a quick email, an automated response which filters back through to them, which starts to wow them because they're impressed with the processes that your school has? I was recently in a seminar where a presenter was saying that he was a head teacher of a successful school in the East Midlands. And he said his director of admissions is the director of first impressions. And that is so important, as Emily has said, those touch points, the very first touch point. And so how well can you present yourselves to your parents where they can start to make choices from your website about the inquiry process or even start on their application journey? So that's where we move on to look at tools and resources. As mentioned at the beginning, we look at tools and resources which are an online admissions platform. We call it Apply at WCBS, which we've just released onto the market. And it takes you from that initial first inquiry in one platform right through to the time the child places their bottom on their seat for the first day in school. Everything is encompassed in that journey by using the online platform from that very first touch point that the parent has. And what is really important is it helps you start to meet some of those challenges. You can start putting away some of your paper processes. You can start putting away some of your emailer processes because automation is brought in, which releases time for you to do so many more of those other things that you wish you had time to do in the admissions process. So for example, here's just a quick shot of a member of the admissions team focusing on an inquiry that has come into the school. And every single interaction that the parent has with the school is captured on that journey. And the school can then start to make judgments about where that parent is on the journey. Do you need to keep them warm? Are they engaged? Have they gone cold? You can start making decisions about the actions to take based on the information you've got, just capturing information, capturing data that comes in from the inquiry process. And then when they've started that application journey, one of the great things again is everything is captured in one place. The whole journey on a timeline, every telephone interaction, every email, every communication, the actual information about their interview. They can book, the parents can book into events, the open days and any other particular events, automatically done. And they receive an automated, personalised, which is really important, personalised email back with the parent's name and the child's name in. And as the administrator of the admissions process, you can see where they are in that journey, the particular stage they're on in their application journey. Your process is built into that platform. So let's have a look at it from the parent side. As we all know, we like to communicate very quickly. Sure, lots of you use WhatsApp, and there's like a WhatsApp type program built into the platform. So when parents sign into their application portal, their secure portal to conduct all their applications process, they can send instant messages to the school and you can respond. The parent can apply for more than one child at a time if they want to, and they can see which messages which are applicable to that child. They can have a look at where they are on their application journey. Every time they complete a stage, they receive an automated email telling them, thank you, what's next? They can manage their profiles for more than one child if they wish to. They can upload important documents, medical, visas, passport information if they wish to. That's the requirement of your school. But that's so much more secure than it being lost in the post. And there's many more things that they can do, such as they can pay their admission fees online. They can complete the application process and then start to look at the enrolment process, all within the same portal. So let's move on to making the most of data as we move into our final stage. One of the great things about the portal, the applications platform which I'm talking about, is you can capture so much data, geographic data, where the students are going to be coming from, boys versus girls, how many people are going to be in each year group. You can receive information back from the MIS system using an API, so that flow of data between the two systems, absolutely crucial, which is what you can do with Hub Apply. And all that data that's coming back can feed your targets. Targets are so important because you can review the targets against the data that has been put in. And you are in charge of that. You can capture whatever information that you want. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying that they had to present to their head teacher every Friday a quick spreadsheet about some key statistics. It took her time to prepare, getting that information together. Wouldn't it be great if next Friday she could go along to a head teacher, knock on the door and say, here's a login, here's your username and password. I don't have to provide this for you anymore. You can log on anytime you want and get the live data about how we're doing on our admissions program. Here's the key statistics that you need. How many people are inquiring? How many applications? What's our conversion rate? It's all there on the platform as soon as you log in. And therefore, she's got more time to be able to do more important processes within the applications process. And a personalized dashboard of various data that's important to you, that you can track and then use to see, are you on target? What do the marketing team need to do because we are short on numbers in year 6 or year 8? Can we have a campaign to get those numbers back up? Just remember back what Emily was saying about the value that those students are to the school. The online portal will provide you very quickly with that important data, which is so crucial for curriculum planning and budget planning. Back to you, Emily.
Thank you. And yes, data can be empowering as well. So again, it goes back to those little wow moments. What I was saying earlier about the little and the big wow, easy for you to say, little and big wow moments. So, capture those personal details about your prospective families and relay them back during any engagement with that family. So during school tours, during phone calls, that personalized approach, as Mark was saying, will set your school apart. You're not just some generic family, they're really showing an interest in that family, and that will make a great first impression on them. It helps you to understand the customer experience as well. So gathering data about what's good and what isn't so good about your admissions journey that you're currently offering to prospective families is invaluable. So engage with new joiners, those who've just gone through your admissions process, or even better, talk to those people who decided not to join your school, the non-joining families. Get behind the reasons why they didn't join. What was the barrier? What was the blocker? Understanding what you're not doing so well as what you are doing well, will allow you to inform your strategies going forwards. You can embellish the good and fix the poor. It also enables smarter marketing planning. So if we just take target audience, for example, building up a picture of data about your target audience will enable you to target them with far tighter marketing, far smarter marketing. So understanding who they are, what their attitudes are, their behaviors, their motivations, their likes, dislikes, as well as the normal socio-demographics and what they do for a living. Build up a whole picture of your target audience so that your key messages will resonate with them and you'll know which channels to reach out to them on. It avoids that what I call the spray and pray approach. People who don't really understand who they're reaching out to, and they're kind of firing at everybody, hoping that it will resonate with somebody, when actually it's unlikely to resonate with anyone. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks. So, those are the three areas which we've covered this afternoon. We've had a look at creating the wow, how to really impress your prospective parents from those initial touch points. We've looked at how an online platform can support you with those touch points and improve those engagements with parents, and to make the most of data. So if we go back to the beginning, let's just remind ourselves of those areas which you raised your hands for, to say, these are our challenges. And by just having a look and considering what we've shared with you this afternoon, we are certain we can start to move you and those scores up to hitting the 10 mark, which we had to think about at the beginning. So imagine your school, your office with little or no paperwork. Wouldn't that be fantastic? How about the automated communications take over and you're not having to manually reply to all those hundreds of emails which are jamming your inbox? And how about the parents find it so much more easier to communicate with you? And parents which can have good communications are happy parents. And Emily?
And imagine if you've got tons of inquiries coming in from prospective families. Imagine a world where there's a waiting list. How good would that be? And also when they're coming in, you are converting those inquiries into enrolled pupils and families. And that's all going to lead to you having a full school. And we know the finances behind that and the benefits to your school's reputation that that can have.
So, thank you very much for listening. We have 4 minutes left where you've got an opportunity to ask some questions if you so desire. I know it's very nerve-wracking being in the audience when you've got these two speakers at the front and you think, I'm too nervous to ask a question. You just think actually how nervous we are at the moment.
If we have a question, we have a microphone. Can we have the microphone down the front, please? Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Mark, for a very informative talk.
Peter Jones from Happy Kids International Kindergarten, Budapest.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask about the live chat function.
Yes.
I've seen it on quite a number of websites. Are many schools using the live chat function or a messenger type function?
Yes, they are. The software company that we work with, it is a very, very important part of the process, and schools like it because it is secure. When the parent logs into their portal, they can see quick messages which have come, or they can actually send a quick message back to the school, I've forgotten what time open day is, or what have you, and they can just get that quick response, because when the administrator logs in, those messages are there on the front page, their login page.
Oh, sorry. Is that part of this program?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And do we have another question? And I have a question for you, Emily and Mark, which is, how do you support schools to develop and sustain their use of the service once they've installed it?
Emily, do you want to go first?
Okay, so we do our auditing, and then we will produce a comprehensive report, a step-by-step plan for the school to follow, and if they have the resource at the school, we will then work with them and support them, perhaps in a mentoring capacity. We're quite flexible about how we do that. If they don't have the resource within the school, we can put a team within the school to implement what we recommend within that report. Or it can just be a case of, once a month we are checking in with the school, reviewing what they're doing, ensuring they're keeping on track. So there's lots of different layers as to how we can support schools once they've had our services and make sure it's effective. Our worst nightmare as a company is if we do all that work and a school makes that investment and then it just becomes a dusty document on the top of a filing cabinet. That's not what we want to do. We're all about keeping schools alive and thriving, so we will do what we can to ensure that it's implemented effectively and it works for the school.
And from our point, when a school is interested, obviously we look at their current processes. So when they want to purchase the platform, we look at their current process. We have a team of consultants who go out to the school and work with the school, look at your current processes to see how we can transform what you do now into the platform. So the forms that you're using now, which perhaps parents are filling in by hand, or they're downloading a PDF, then having to fill it in and send it back in the post. We look at how we can get those online for you. We look at all the automated emails that you want to send back when those stages are triggered, so they're your words, it's your branding within them to ensure that the parents know it's your school. And then we work with you, we present the new platform to you, we sit down with you, this is what you expected, then with full support team to work with you, especially what is really important is the training, and we build that training program into, so you have a great start to your new platform.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emily and Mark. The next talk in this theatre is at 2:45.